What's going on, guys? Stevie from the Midmasters here, and today I'm going to show you how to paint a brand new panel. So one thing you're probably going to have to do with your truck or car, whatever you're working on, is you're eventually probably going to buy a new panel because something's rusted out or too dented and you don't want to deal with it. And that new panel is just going to come in some black primer and it's going to need to be painted. Or, well, you can do the ghetto thing and just drive around with it unpainted. I mean, hey, I've done it for a little bit, but I definitely, well, eventually painted it, which is what I'm going to show you how to do. So that explains it. So what I have here is a patch panel for my truck. It's going to go over the rear fenders. Now, I'm sure you're thinking, like, where the hell did I get this? What is this going on? I'll have a separate video how to make one of these and install it on your truck. But this is the part where I'm going to paint it, and you guys are going to get a nice little tutorial on how to do that. So anyway, this is just one of those patch panels. It came as a piece of steel, primered black, as you can see through here. I had a few weird like divots and stuff, so I put a little primer on, sanded down just to get it flat again. So it's now at the point where you would get it if you bought it. So what you're going to do with a new panel is you're going to get 400 grit. So I have this stuff that comes in a roll like this, and then I have the Durablock blockings. I got a whole set of them, and you're going to want to sand that thing. You're not going to sand down the bare metal. You're just going to scuff it, just so the paint has something to adhere to. Once it's scuffed, aka what I've got here now, then you're ready to paint. So there's a couple ways you can do this. If you're doing something out of your auto parts store, you can go find something of, like, you know, the Dupli color kind of brand, and you can do one of their, you know, one-part primers, which is actually what I have on here, that green stuff. Or you can do what I like to do and go buy a 2-part aerosal spray primer. So this is from Eastwood. You'll know it's a 2-part because it will have this thing at the bottom and a little piece here. So basically you take that cap there, put it on the bottom, and you're going to break another capsule on the inside here, shake it together. That capsule has the hardener. So you're getting a body shop quality paint in a can. So anyway, that's what I'm going to do real quick with this. You know, basically you break it, shake it up for 2 whole minutes, and then I'm going to spray. Now with this, you're going to do just nice, even, fairly wet coats. I mean, really, really build it up. And if it goes on really well, then we're going to jump right to our base coat. But I'll bring you back for that once I get this thing primered up. So, see you in a few seconds. All right, so here we are. This is my first coat of primer. Probably do 2. That should probably do it. And then I'll put the base coat on. As you can see just by the glare, you can't really tell where the holes were drilled through and disturbances in the paint, which is exactly what I wanted from that first coat of store-bought primer. But anyway, so what you're going to do after you put your first coat on, you're going to notice there's some wetter spots and some drier spots. Once you start seeing those drier spots, then you can go over for your next coat. Now, after I finish my second coat, when I start seeing those dry spots, that's the time to jump on it with my base coat of color. So that's what I'm going to do next. Is you're going to see I'm going to put my next coat of primer, come back out here, and I'm going to start my coats of color. Now, because you're not going to physically watch me paint, because, well, you don't physically watch me do anything, basically how I'm going to do color is I'm going to put as many coats on there as needed until the color really starts to show. One thing you guys don't know about my truck is the one fender on the driver's side I actually painted. Unfortunately, I did not have a video of that because, well, I kind of did it, started in the afternoon, and by the time I was ready to go, I'd finished it at night. Which, hey, that's a win for all of us who don't have all the time in the world. Matter of fact, take a look at today. It's a cloudy, foggy day, rain. So you can tell I don't have a body shop. I don't have a garage. Being in grad school has really crimped my style for things. So you can see this is just a little home setup. This is something you can easily do. So anyway, when I painted that fender, I just did as many coats as the color would show, which, if I remember correctly, it only took about 2. Now, as far as paint for that, I buy stuff from this company called Automotive Touch-Up. You can go on there, enter the paint code for your company, not your company, excuse me, for your car, which is on your, you know, where your VIN and door codes and stuff, just inside the door jamb. So for this truck, it was called GA. And so you'll go find your paint, and they will mix up the right paint, put it in the can, and mail it to you. So this is one of those. So if you ever want to do this, that's the person to go to. And considering I have the one and only purple pickup truck ever, well, there's more of them like that, just not as many left, and I was able to get paint for it. Any of you guys out there looking for hard to find paint in a can, there's your opportunity. Anyway, I'm gonna let you guys go. I'm gonna go back, paint these, and when you see me next, you should see this fender looking purple. See ya. All right, well, here is my first coat of Ford Purple, aka Bright Sapphire Metallic, paint code GA. It's really looking purple right now. So yeah, that's the first coat, and I'll put a second and a third, and it'll look awesome. I'll show you what the finished result looks like. All right, so I have put my final coat of color, base coat, as they say in the painting world, on the panel. So now it's just pretty much got to get tacky again, and we can do clear coat. A few things I want to go over first, some things I forgot to mention, other things that I want to be aware of. First thing about painting is the cleaner the environment, the better. I mean, that's the reason why these guys got these elaborate paint booths. They wear suits, everything. And to give you an idea where a paint booth would really work out would be, so right there you can see that hair, and then right there in that shine you can see that one little speck there. In a paint booth, you're not gonna have the dust and dirt. I mean, look, I'm out on the front porch outside. Things are gonna go all over the place. Earlier when I was painting, a hair from my head fell on the paint. I had to pull it out. So when a professional painter does this, he wears a full Tyvek suit, or at least something to keep hair out of his paint work, and anything else that's kind of blowing around. Luckily today there's no wind, so that works out there. You'll notice I'm wearing gloves. The oil in your hands will keep paint from adhering long term, so this is always good to wear. Another thing that I did not mention, when you have your fresh panel, you just did your 400 grit sandpaper, and you're about to do your primer, you want to hit it with some acetone first. That really helps clean it up, and then you'll use a tack rag, get that last little bit of dust. You can also use a air compressor just to keep it clean in the meantime. But like I said, cleanliness is the name of the game. Now, a little word on safety. As I'm painting, I'm wearing a respirator. You don't need a full face thing. I use this for other work, but you'll want something at least with some kind of filtration for fine particles and paint, which you can look on the labels to know which ones to get. So you want to definitely have that, because all this two-part stuff is even more harmful to your lungs than just regular paint. So you definitely want to, you want to live longer so you can keep wrenching longer on your projects. So anyway, also another thing too, you notice I'll have these weird blue paper towels. Yes, they are blue. They're lint free or low lint, because that's another thing. When you clean these things off, you leave any lint, it will show up in your paint. Again, another one of those little anal painting tips. But when you are a painter guy, you get kind of nutty about making sure none of this ends up in your work. So anyway, I'm going to let that kind of set up a bit, and then I'm going to bring out my two-part clear, and I'm going to start applying my clear coat, and I'll bring you back to see the finished results, and then I'll put this inside to fully dry and cure overnight. Speaking of drying and curing, all the cans, spray paint cans, recommend this done in 70 to 85 degree weather with 50% humidity. Right now it's about 65 degrees outside, maybe 60. Not ideal. So one of the things I was doing with the primer was I'd pick up the panel, go inside, walk a loop, and then come out, and it kind of helped flash dry it, because otherwise it'd probably take a little longer out here. So that's just a little something that you're not seeing on camera. Anyway, I'll bring you back after I clear. So here we go. Here's the panel, all clear coated. As you can see, it's just got that nice, shiny SEMA show look to it. Just awesome. And all with spray cans, aerosol cans, rattle cans, whatever you want to call them. That's all I used, and it looks freaking awesome. Now, you're probably wondering, so I'll give you a little insight on painting cars with just aerosol cans. That's all I usually ever do. But you're probably wondering, well, can I do a whole car like this? Well, if you have a small car, you could probably do it, and it would still be cheaper than paying a body shop. I remember I used to own a 1986 Nissan 300ZX, and I had a guy quote me for $1,200
no, 2,500 bucks to paint the entire car, clear coat everything. And he told me, yeah, he was gonna remove everything and such. But I'm told between that and about $4 is what you're looking at to get a car really well done. Not like a one of those really cheap $1,000 jobs. I mean, like, you can take this and show it off at a show. So at what point do you take your car in to get professionally done, or you stick to doing it at home?
Well, these spray cans, these 2 parts, that's 20 bucks. I think it was 23. These were like 25 a piece. I bought 3 of those when I bought that paint. So if you start thinking, like, what did it take? Like, when I did the fender on my truck, it took 1.5 cans of that. I think 1.5 cans of that and 1.5 cans of that. So you figure that's just one driver's side fender. So what is it going to take to do an entire vehicle? And basically you start adding up the cost. And if you're still under that price point, what it would be to pay a professional body shop, then I would say do it at home. Now, you're going to run the risk of getting little hairs and other little things in there, which if you are pretty diligent, you can kind of avoid those. But if you don't, you can, I've been told you can work them out later if you want to. But that's what you have to consider when wanting to do this at home. Now, say you want to move to the next level up, you want to do an air compressor, you could want to do actually buying the paint in a gallon, which actually might come out cheaper than doing aerosol. Actually, I think pretty much is.
Again, it's startup cost. You're going to want an air compressor. It's going to be like 60 gallons. You're going to want a decent gun. You're already there at almost $1,000 with painting material, just, reusable painting materials and an air compressor. So you're about $1,000. So what you could do is you and a couple of your buddies could split the cost and maybe paint a couple cars. It would be the cheapest way to go. But if you're trying to do it yourself, especially for just like 1 or 2 panels in your vehicle,
do the aerosol thing, because it just looks awesome. Anyway, guys, that's all for me.
If you like this video, go down there, give me a big thumbs up, and also be sure to subscribe. And, click on some of these other videos that I'll leave here at the end so that you can find when I put that other panel on there. Otherwise, this is Steve from the Midmasters. Thanks for watching.